Hi and welcome back to Koala's Clip In. I am Koala talking, speaking, present. So this is gonna be my second video about being a trans man that has been out for over a year. And I'm gonna keep talking about being out in the spiritual community and spiritual spaces. So, as you might remember, last time I talked a lot about in the first part of this, I talked a lot about women's spaces. And I must say that it has been uh, women that has been like most surprising. Um, be and I'm gonna keep talking a little bit about that. And let's see if I can like gather my thoughts on this. I've tried this all morning, but um, it's like a weird sensation when you enter a space and you feel welcome and people are welcoming, but there's like a sense of, oh yeah, welcome, welcome, we respect you, we love you, love and light, but please sit over there and don't talk about yourself. Like that kind of feeling, like we respect you as long as you don't take up too much of the space. You can be here, but be quiet. So it's not been eh, it's mostly been good experiences. Okay, so most of the spaces I have been, I think, because I hold a lot of space, those spaces I have been that I've been holding myself, people come into them and they know that this is a space where a trans person is holding the space, and that is what I'm getting. This, and most people are coming in like curious. There's a Swedish thing where people are like, they look at you with these eyes. And you can see how curious they are, and they have so many questions, but it's un-Swedish to ask those questions. Of course, there are like boundless people that are like, excuse me for asking this, but, and they don't wait for permission. They just say it, or they like, can I ask you a personal question? And the feeling is that they will anyway. So it's like a few of those, and then most people are like that. And but when I held spaces for other people, it's been a great experience. It's been a quite different experience. It's interesting being viewed as a man versus a woman, because people kind of expect different things from you. That, of course, I knew that, but it's been it's been interesting to be on the other side of that, you know. And when I've entered other people's spaces, it's been like almost 50-50 if it's gonna feel a bit weird or not. Some people are really good at holding spaces, preparing spaces, and it helps, but it doesn't keep people from entering the space with their own preconceived conceptions, you know. And it's been interesting to view people handle that as space holders. And I do try my best. I've actually done quite well at entering a space and don't and not and relaxing. That's what I'm gonna like, relaxing into. And I love doing that, relaxing into like I'm one of the people in this space. I'm not holding the space. I'm relaxed in my position as being in the space and letting other people be responsible for holding the space sacred. So it's been an interesting journey, and the most interesting part have been the ones that are like, they say, I respect you, um, you are welcome here, and then they don't act on it. completely, mostly by not being curious, because I don't mind people not being curious. That's perfectly fine. It's better than fine. But not even being like interested in what does that mean, which means that they keep treating me like they view me and not as I tell them I wish to be treated. So I've entered spaces where people still call me sister, and I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, it's just a word, and I'm like, no, it's not just a word. It's a feminine word between women, or like, and trans femme people. It's sisterhood and sister. I'm a brother. What? No, you can't. You can hold me in the same space, you can hold me in the same embrace, but you can't use that kind of word towards me or about me or with me, because it's quite offensive in the way that because it's not an offensive word, of course. But it's offensive towards me because it's not respecting my identity, and it's not really welcoming me. It's like, we welcome you, we respect you, but, and depending on the space, depending on the person, I either educate or I walk away. So yeah, I either educate or I walk away. So I think the one thing I would like people to know is, if you do use the wrong term, say you're sorry and move on. Don't try to explain away or like justify the word you've used, because just realize that it was not the right word in this situation with this person. Say you're sorry and move along. Because that's all you gotta do. You don't have to be like, oh, but that's the word I've always used and it's because of the situation. No, 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 no. Just just acknowledge that you were wrong, uh, and say you're sorry. That's all. And if I meet people that are never wrong, you know what I do? I walk away. I can't deal with that. No, no, and neither should you. So if you meet people like, but this is what I do, and I am never wrong because this is what I do, and it doesn't work like that, dude. Respect yourself enough to walk away and not be like, and don't follow their rules when they are messing up. You know, don't go along with it. Don't give them a free pass or anything. Uh, the only times I know I don't give people free passes, because most of the time what I think I do is when people correct themselves almost instantly. So I don't have to correct them, and sometimes it gives me a sense of feeling like I give them a free pass, but most of them people are genuine. So most people are genuine about it. So it's not a big problem. Now, meeting men in the spiritual community as a trans man has been uh, good, mostly good. I've been more than welcome, and they've instantly seen me as one of them, which sometimes make me feel like men in the spiritual spaces, spiritual community, are actually more in touch with themselves and their own sense of self, and their own needs and their own vulnerability, than some women. uh, because it takes a lot to be a man in the spiritual community and be a safe space. Because there are so many that have a big ego, like they want to be seen as gurus, they want to misuse their position. There's a lot of those kind of men in the spiritual community. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but I choose very, very carefully and intuitively the ones I interact with. And the men in the spiritual community that really are good at holding spaces or being in that space with so many women, they are mostly very humble, very in touch with their own feminine side. Sometimes I feel like kind of they have to like minimize the masculine side, because it's like they get rid of their toxic masculine side, or they never had one, and they don't really show their divine masculine. It's not really that apparent. I know they have it, but it most people, I think, in the spiritual community view those men only as in touch with their feminine side and their divine femininity and the sacred feminine. So that's actually a reason why I want to dive into the divine masculine during this year, more into it, and have discussions about it in sacred spaces, because it's something I feel need to be uplifted and need to be viewed and need to be balanced with the sacred feminine. Uh, it's time, it's time. And I did a view video. I'm gonna link that video at the end of this, where I talked about the right way of smashing the patriarchy. So, um, and I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but just watch that, okay, if you haven't. So I feel like I'm so not organized today. There was something more I was gonna talk about, but I feel like I forgot about it. And so if I don't come up with it, like, I'm gonna press pause, take a sip of water, and if I come back and I don't remember what I was gonna talk about, I'm just gonna say good night for this time. So I think it actually was the part about uh, men in the spiritual community having to almost minimize themselves and their masculinity to be accepted. Um, mm, yeah, I think that was it. So for this year, my second year out, I will probably dive into this, like being a trans man in the spiritual space, when I stumble upon something. And then at the end of the year, I will probably look back at it as I've tried to do now. Not really succeeding. Uh, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. If you have any questions, please put them down below. And as I'm saying this, I'm remembering what I wanted to talk about. And it was just the fact that one, what do I say? One thing I've come across when people understand, mostly when I came out, but also during the year, is that people they're like, oh, no, what I this is not a good day for me. So I have actually recently tried to make this more organized by like making a mind map before each video, and I didn't for this one. So now it's like my mind, and I have like a full day in front of me, so it's creeping up on me. Uh, but it's about two spirit That's the word. It's hard in English as well to gather my thoughts. So people have been like, "Oh, two spirit." I'm like, "No, we're no." Even if I identified as such or something like in that vicinity of identities, that is not a thing. That is not the right word in my practice or where I'm from. I'm not a Native American. I'm not indigenous in the Americas. Uh, that's not the that would be cultural appropriation. Okay, we don't use that word in the Nordic. Two spirit isn't a word. I'm so I'm gonna make another video because it was requested about two spirits and the definition of it and the use of it and whatever it means. I am not that. I'm a trans man. Period. Uh, just just because I lived my half of my life one way and I'm gonna live half of my life another way. It's like it's no. I don't have any more to say about it. So I've come across that and I just want to say no. And in the meantime, uh, before you see a video of from me about two spirits, I want you to go to Instagram and I want you to follow the path of X. I don't know if it's pronounced X or Ich or whatever, but it's IX. The path of IX, and follow um, Marina, one who catches lightning. They are two spirit. Follow them. Okay. For more insight into two spirit. So with that said, have a lovely day or evening or good night or wherever you are in the world and whatever time it is where you are. And I will see you again shortly. Walk in beauty, respect all people, respect their pronouns, even if you don't understand it. Google what you don't understand. If you can't find it on Google, maybe it's too personal to ask anyway. Remember that. Take care, y'all, and shingling.